Welcome to WeLearn, Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 13, Religious Specialist, Shamans, Priests and Prophets. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are Introduction, Religious Specialist and the Sociology of Religion, the Priest, the Hindu priesthood and example, the Shaman and the Prophet. First, coming towards the introduction, the significance and role of these specialists vary from society to society, and it is related to an extent to the nature of the religious system in a particular society. The function of the specialist are usually meant for achieving positive end and benevolence, but often they may even be aimed at inflicting harms. We often find men seeking the service of the specialist, even when they are not required. When the assistance of the exorciser, medicine man, and the magician are sought as a normal routine. Next are the religious specialist and the sociology of religion. A religious specialist is one who devote himself to a religious system. In societies, when such power is considered as impersonal, anthropologists have been described it as a magic and a specialist who manipulates the power as a magician, and where power is personalized as deities, gods, spirits or demons and the like. Anthropologists talk of religion. In reality, no clear demarcation can be drawn between religion and magic. Religious systems contain both religious belief, practice, and the magical elements. Next are the Weber on religion. Weber believed that the behavior of individuals in a society is motivated by religious and magical factors. He discussed in his work the plurality of gods and their potential. He also traces out the development of monotheistic religions such as Islam and Judaism, and polytheistic religions such as Hinduism. In an attempt to clarify religious experience and specialists, he points out how men relate to supernatural forces through prayers, sacrifice, and worship. The priest. Now, the Weber understanding of the priest. According to Weber, the priest is a functionary who performs regular, permanent and organized functions that are related to the divine. He does this usually through the act of worship, either on behalf of an individual or for society as a whole. The priest belongs to the social organization and occupies a hereditary office. According to Weber, the priest would have attained significant social and religious status, though both rigorous training and by virtue of being born into a particular social group. Next are the priest and the priesthood, an overview. Priest and associated organizations are found in both simple and modern societies. The rise of the priest is associated with the need felt by primitive measures to come to terms with the supernatural world. In simpler societies, we find that not just priests but also magicians are associated with the ability to communicate with the divine world. It is believed as such that priesthood as old as religion itself. Into this category of specialists were also include those who underwent ecstatic experience by going into frequency, and then would make predictions such as a darvish. Those who look after places that have for some reason acquired a sacred significance and thus considered holy. Those persons or holy men who exercise some kind of religious authority by performing miracles or curing illness. Next are the priests and royalty. We find that in most societies, an interesting relationship also arose between priestly authority and the royalty. There are many examples in history of kings who were priests also, such as among the tribes of Polynesia and Melanesia, or even in India where ancestor worship made is necessary for the king or family head to perform priestly function. We also have examples of kings who were raised to the status of divinity and were believed to imbibe in their beings the essence or life of the tribe or nation. Priestly qualifications. Certain qualifications are laid down as being basic to priesthood. We mention here some of them without going into details. The priest's primary task is to mediate between human and divine. The priests communicate with the divine through prayers, worship, rituals, and so on. Priests have to undergo initiation into the profession. A certain self-training is considered necessary. A certain aura of mystery surrounds them. Next are the Hindu priesthood. An example. Vedas. In the Vedas, we find it mentioned that the social group of Brahmana was the priestly class. We find described in the Rig Veda the priestly activities of some of the families of Vedic tribes. In the Samhita, the title of Brahmin is given to that priestly class who worked for king and wealthy nobles. These priests strictly adhered to their occupation and were also believed to have a knowledge of medicine. Next are the Brahmanas. In the Brahmana literature, which include the period of the 6th century BC, the priests are seen as a separate and hereditary class that was expected to maintain its distance and purity from others. Here also we find the priest performing sacrifice, and there arise subdivisions here within the priestly class on the basis of functions performed. This method shows the functions of the Purohita having increased in significance. Next are the Upanishads. By the time of Upanishads, priestly function had become more differentiated. The priest now, other than performing sacrificial functions, was expected to encourage the philosophical studies and to take on disciplines as pupils. The Upanishads also specifically the 4 stages of life of the ashrama that a Hindu had to follow. We refer here to Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaspatya and Vanaprastha and Sannyasa as the 4 phases in a man's life. Next is the early Hinduism. In early Hinduism, the priests are seen to have full control over the divine and the power of the king. In fact, there have been many priests in history who have gained knowledge of not only rituals and worship but also of administration. A well-known example was that of Chanakya. But in this period, the priest was seen to have become learned in astrology, divination, and magic as well. Stories about the process of such priests can be found in the Jataka Katha. Next are the medieval and modern Hinduism. According to the Puranic text, the period represents much the same feature. We do, however, see a division of the priestly class into tightly knit endogamous and hereditary subunits. As these subunits grew, an occupational diversification was also seen to occur. The Purohit, along with his priestly function, also come to perform astrological horoscope preparation, fortune telling, and the performance of magic. The temple priest becomes significant and come to look after the village temple deity. The tribal context. The examining the nature of priesthood in the Indian context, we cannot ignore the role of the priest in the tribal context. He is seen as a medicine man, a healer, and a person who do not only has only divine powers but also powers of magic and sorcery. We have examples of temples being built by tribals, served by non Brahmin priests such as among the Tians and Malabar. Because of their association with magic and learning, they are considered more as magicians than priests and are called shamans. Next are the shamans. Weber on the magic. If we examine Weber's work on religious specialists, we do not find any mention of the shaman. He does, however, talk about the magician. We briefly examine what he has to say about magician as it is an imaginal act that the shaman has his antecedents. He believes that the relationship between the human and the supernatural could be expressed not just through religious worship assisted by the priest but also through the magical chants or sorcery. The shamans and general overview. Earlier, we have outlined some of the broader features of the magician as a specialist. As far as shaman is concerned, he represents all of the above features and more. He is found to use his magical abilities for purposes of well-being as well as for harming, usually in the context of pre-literature society. For instance, a shaman was engaged in an act of magic or sorcery to cure an illness, exercise a profession, inflict injury or illness or someone, or influence the force of nature to bring rains. The function and roles of shamans. The word shaman is of Northeast Asian origin and comes from Tungusic word summon, which means one who is excited, moved, or raised. He derives his power from association with the supernatural, and it is believed that he is assisted by a medium or a spirit to attain his ends. Very often, the shaman's ability to achieve results demands that this state of mind is alert, altered, and he either enters into a trace of an uncontrolled condition of excitement, following which he communicates with the supernatural. Organization. As far as the hierarchy, organization of the shamans is concerned is not as clearly identified as that of the priest. Within the community, however, on the basis of the power and control of shaman has over spirits, he has a particular rank. They are also classified in terms of whether they perform positive magic in the well being of a person or negative magic or black magic to make some ill. Accordingly, they are either revered or feared and have higher or lower status. Next is an example, the Orange Shaman. The shaman here and the tribe in general were first started by the Indian social anthropologist S.C. Roy in 1929. The Orange live in the hilly and forested region. They practice agriculture and both men and women share in farming. Their life is colored by festivals and they have sacred groves for their village deity. Important in the life of the Oran is the Bhakt or the shaman. His residence is identifiable by colored flags on the bamboo poles that stand outside it. Next are the prophet. The major difference between the priest and the prophet is that the prophet regards his mission as a personal call and derives his authority from personal relevance and charisma of the exceptional quality. The core of the prophet mission is to carry forward the commandment or doctrine he has received as revelation. Often the prophet may use magic to establish his authority. The prophet is usually successful and represented till his ability to convince and prove his uniqueness of purpose is intact. The prophet and overview. Prophets have varied in nature from religion to religion and society to society, depending upon the nature of their mission. This has also determined in nature of the prophets they have made. It may be noted, however, that the category of the prophet is absent in India's indigenous religious traditions. We mean by this that the idea of the prophet, such as Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, who bring to mankind a message or commitment from God, they are absent in our country. Next are the Satya Sai Baba, an example. Satya Sai Baba is regarded as modern India's most famous miracle maker and the deity saint. He is easily recognizable by his appearance and clothes. The major part of his devotees come from high caste, middle and upper middle class in India. He can be regarded as deep as he receives the homage of his doctrines. He returns these with a blessing and grants gloom. But above all, he is known for his ability to make miracles and predictions come true. Now, in the last, there are a few questions which are based on this session. Question number 1 is, state in few words what Weber understanding of priest is. Question number 2 is, briefly discuss what Weber's understanding of the magician is. That's all for the session. Thank you. Happy learning. We learn.